Unaware of her $20 million jackpot win, husband took his poor wife to a party and left with another woman because she seemed richer. What she did next shocked him. He didn't just ignore her. In a bright, crowded party full of glittering dresses and fake smiles, he walked away from his wife, left her standing alone near the exit, and wrapped his arm around another woman because she looked richer. While people whispered and phones recorded, Daniel Taylor smiled proudly as he led Vanessa, the woman in the shimmering gold dress, out of the hall, leaving his poor wife behind like she was nothing. That same morning, Mia Taylor had burned her hand ironing his only good shirt, trying to make him look important. She sewed torn fabric, hid her old shoes under the bed, and told herself love was worth every sacrifice. A week earlier, in their small, quiet home, she had checked a lottery ticket she'd bought on a whim and realized her numbers matched the winning draw. She didn't fully understand the process yet, but the shop clerk had said the lottery office would send official confirmation if it was real. Terrified and hopeful at the same time, she slipped the ticket into her old Bible, the only safe place she owned, too scared to tell a man who already cared more about status than her heart. That morning, a golden envelope from the lottery office arrived and would soon make her knees weak. Official confirmation that she was the winner of $20 million. At the party, he told people he was not really married. He laughed with Vanessa about luxury boutiques and powerful connections. When Mia checked her phone, she saw his text. "Don't wait up. Vanessa needs a ride home." He thought she would go home, cry, and stay broken. He thought she would always be the silent, poor wife in the background. But what Daniel never knew was this. The woman he abandoned at that party was holding a secret worth $20 million, and she was done staying quiet. Dear viewers, thank you for being here. If you watch without subscribing, it's like letting Mia's courage fade into the background again. When you click that button, you stand with every quiet heart that finally decides to fight back. Please subscribe now and tell me in the comments where you're watching from. The iron hissed sharply in the quiet room. So loud, so sudden, it felt like an alarm. Mia Taylor, 32 years old, small-framed and soft-spoken, jerked her hand back as the scorching steam burned her skin. A red mark spread across her palm instantly, but she pressed her lips together, refusing to cry out. She didn't want to wake Daniel. He hated morning noise. The iron hissed again, matching the rush in her chest. She lowered it quickly and stared at the shirt she had been fixing. Daniel's only good dress shirt, worn so thin that the fabric almost turned transparent under the light. She had patched it 3 times already. The thread she used today didn't match perfectly, so she carefully angled the iron to hide the flaw. Daniel always noticed flaws, not his own, only hers. Mia moved quietly, as if walking on eggshells, folding the shirt with gentle precision. This wasn't new. For 7 years of marriage, she had become an expert at solving problems before they reached Daniel's eyes, fixing shoes before he tripped, mending shirts before he complained, paying small bills before he panicked. She did it because of a promise she once made, a promise that haunted her more than it helped her. She remembered it clearly, even now, even in this quiet morning. It came from a night years ago, back when they were still new, still hopeful, still full of dreams. Daniel, now 34, once held a job he loved. He walked with confidence, laughed easily, and looked at her as if she was his whole world. Then the company collapsed. Overnight, he became unemployed. The shock crushed him. She saw him staring at the walls for hours, refusing food, refusing comfort. He had whispered one night, voice shaking, "I'm failing you. I'm useless." Mia had taken his hands and said the worst promise she ever made. "You will never feel like a failure again. I'll carry whatever you can't." That vow became her chain, a chain she forged link by link every time she took on extra shifts, every time she hid overdue notices, every time she encouraged him even when he belittled her. Her inheritance, what little she had, was already gone. Her mother had left her a tiny savings fund, a few sentimental pieces of jewelry, and an old Bible. Those had kept her and Daniel afloat during his darkest year. She pawned every piece, even the bracelet her mother once said would stay with her forever. It didn't stay. Daniel needed new shoes. Daniel needed tools for a side job. Daniel needed to look successful again. And Mia had needed to honor her vow. The only thing she still had was the Bible. It became the place where she kept anything precious she couldn't afford to lose. Small notes, old photos, and, a week ago, the lottery ticket she'd bought on a whim. The corner shop had scanned it and told her the system showed a high-value match, but that the main office would send a formal letter if it was really a jackpot. She had gone home with her heart racing, slipped the ticket carefully between the thin pages, and closed the Bible like she was locking away a storm. She didn't know if keeping the possible win secret made her selfish or finally smart. As she gently finished folding the shirt, her old shoes, scuffed at the toes and patched at the sides, peeked from under the bed. She had worn them for 4 years. Buying new ones always felt wrong when Daniel needed things more. A floorboard creaked behind her. Daniel. His footsteps were sharp, like he walked to cut through silence, not pass through it. He entered the room, tall, tense, already frowning, though the sun had barely risen. His voice carried that familiar edge, the one that made her shoulders instinctively shrink. "You're up early again," he said, not grateful, not impressed, almost irritated. "I just wanted to fix your shirt," Mia replied softly. He snatched it from her hands, inspecting every stitch. "Everyone at work has classy wives," he muttered. "I can't be the only one who looks like he married someone from a garage sale." The words stabbed, but she lowered her eyes, hiding her hurt. A knock came, soft, almost shy. Mia turned. The mailman slipped an envelope through the door. An envelope with a golden seal. Her heart jumped. The lottery office. She moved quickly, picking it up before Daniel could see. She slid it under a pile of laundry, pretending she hadn't even looked at it. But Daniel caught the nervous tremble in her fingers. "What was that?" he asked, suspicious. "Just a bill," she said quickly. He scoffed. "More money we don't have. Great." He walked away, already focused on the evening. "Remember I told you, there's a big networking party tonight. I need everything to be perfect." As he left the room, Mia exhaled shakily, whispering under her breath, "If only you knew." Extreme cliffhanger, sus, foreshadowing of scene 2. The camera lingers on the hidden envelope. Mia's hand hovers over it, her fingers trembling, before she pulls away, terrified of what the truth might change. But she doesn't notice. Daniel's shadow is standing right behind her, watching, listening, and already assuming she's hiding something. Secrets don't stay buried for long, especially when money becomes part of the story. The bathroom door slammed shut behind Mia with a force she didn't intend. Her heart was pounding so fast it felt like it wanted to escape her chest. She pressed her back against the cool door, breathing hard, clutching the golden-sealed envelope in both hands as if someone might snatch it away at any moment. The intensity didn't fade. Her fingers trembled as she tore open the envelope. Too fast, ripping the side. A single sheet slid out and fluttered to the floor. She dropped to her knees. The letter stared back at her, loud and unbelievable in the small, cramped bathroom. "Congratulations, Mia Taylor. You are the confirmed winner of $20,000 million." Her breath hitched, her mind spun, her whole world tilted. Mia pressed a trembling hand over her mouth to quiet the gasp fighting its way out. The bathroom was the only place Daniel never followed her into. He hated tight spaces. That made it her only safe space. But the walls felt like they were closing in now. She whispered, voice cracking as tears filled her eyes. $20 million. What am I supposed to do with this?" The question echoed around the bathroom like a confession she shouldn't have made. For days, she had carried the secret possibility that the ticket might be worth millions. The shop's scanner had hinted at it, but this letter didn't say maybe. It said confirmed winner. There was no more pretending this was small. The moment she said the number, memories rushed in like a flood she wasn't ready for. She saw herself as a child, sitting at a kitchen table with bills spread out like fallen leaves. Her mother's hands shaking as she tried to stretch every dollar. Her father repeating, "We just have to get through this month." Her mother telling her, "Money doesn't make life easier, Mia. It just makes life louder." Her mother showed her a tin box and said, "Always save, even when it hurts. One day, that habit will save you back." Mia carried that lesson into adulthood like a shield. On her last day alive, her mother whispered, "Money reveals who people really are." Now sitting in the bathroom with $20 million in her hands, those words felt like prophecy. Her heart tightened as another memory hit her. Fresh, painful, undeniable. Just last week, Daniel had asked her to co-sign a loan for another business idea. When she said no, worried they'd lose the house, he exploded. He slammed his fist on the table, shouting that she never supports him, that she was holding him back. Then he walked out and didn't come home until after midnight. She remembered sitting alone on the couch, wondering if he was punishing her. That night she realized something. Daniel didn't want partnership. Daniel wanted power. If she told him about the money now, he would see it as his lifeline, not hers. And deep down, though she tried to ignore it, she feared he would stop seeing her as his wife and start seeing her as a prize. So she folded the letter and placed it gently back into the envelope, holding it close to her chest. Mia wasn't greedy. She wasn't selfish. She wasn't playing a game. She was protecting herself for the first time in years. She closed her eyes and whispered, "Mom, what do I do?" A tear rolled down her cheek. She wasn't crying because she won money. She was crying because she knew, somehow deep in her bones, that this money was going to expose every crack in her marriage, and she wasn't ready for that truth. A loud vibration broke the silence. Her phone lit up on the sink. "Daniel." She swallowed hard and reached for it. A text appeared. "Daniel, we're going to a party tonight. Try not to look cheap." Her hand went cold. A million thoughts hit her. He already cared about appearances. He already compared her to others. He already shamed her for looking poor. What would he do if he knew she was worth $20 million? The phone buzzed again. "Daniel, and don't make this night about you. I need to look good." Mia wiped her tears, stood slowly, and faced the mirror. The woman staring back looked tired, but under the tiredness was something else. A quiet strength she hadn't seen in herself for a long time. She slid the envelope against her chest for a moment, then tucked it carefully out of sight, close but hidden. As she reached for the bathroom door, ready to face Daniel, a faint sound came from outside. Daniel's voice, talking softly, laughing, flirting, on the phone. Then she heard him say, "Yeah, the party tonight will have real people, not like her." Mia froze. The envelope near her heart felt heavier now. Tonight, appearances will break more than hearts. The moment Mia stepped out of the bathroom, the intensity hit her like a slap. Daniel stood in the bedroom, shirtless, surrounded by 3 suits flung across the bed. He wasn't calm. He wasn't patient. He was frantic, moving from one suit to another with the desperation of a man trying to become someone he wasn't. "Do I look like someone important?" he demanded before she could even breathe. His voice was sharp. His eyes were hungry, hungry for approval, not from her, but from the world he wanted so badly to impress. Mia froze in the doorway, still shaken from hearing him flirt on the phone minutes earlier. She kept one hand near her pocket, feeling where she had briefly held the envelope, now safely hidden away again. She wasn't ready to confront him, not yet, but her silence felt loud. Daniel grabbed a navy suit and held it up against his chest. "No, maybe this one," he muttered. "I have to look successful tonight. People will be watching." Extreme intensity filled the air. His movements were fast, impatient, almost irritated that she wasn't already complimenting him. He turned suddenly. "Which one? The navy? The gray? The striped one? Come on, Mia, help me look like someone important." His words cut deeper than he realized. Mia stepped closer, her voice soft. "You always look fine, Daniel. I need to talk to you about something important." He didn't hear her. He wasn't listening. He was too busy standing in front of the mirror, pulling at the sleeves of a charcoal suit jacket. He didn't notice her tired eyes. He didn't notice her shaking hands. He didn't notice the secret that had just shattered her understanding of their lives. All he saw was himself. Mia took a slow breath. "Daniel, something happened today, something big." Still nothing. He brushed dust from the shoulder of the jacket, tilting his head. "Tonight's party is full of people who matter," he said, as if talking to the mirror instead of her. "I need to look sharp. I need people to see me as someone worth talking to. He turned, expression tense. I need you to behave, okay? Don't make me look small. The words landed like cold stones in her chest. Her mind flashed back years before. She remembered a time when Daniel wasn't like this. A late afternoon at his old job, the one he lost. She had stopped by to bring him lunch. She paused outside the open break room door and overheard him speaking with a coworker. His coworker asked, "Does success scare you?" Daniel laughed confidently. "No, success is who you're standing next to." Those words echoed now. Back then, she thought he meant her. Today, she realized he never meant her at all. Status, appearance, validation. That was what he valued. Not love, not loyalty, not her. Daniel snapped his fingers. "Mia, are you even listening? I said I can't look small tonight. Don't wear anything that makes you stand out in a bad way. You know how you get nervous. Just try your best not to embarrass me." Mia swallowed hard. She was done ignoring her own voice. "Daniel," she tried again, slower this time. "I said I need to tell you something serious." He sighed loudly, annoyance dripping from every word. "Not now, Mia. I'm under enough pressure already." "But," he cut her off with a raised hand. "Not now, just look presentable. That's all I ask. We can talk later." Her heart sank. It wasn't just that he wasn't listening. It was that he didn't even consider the possibility that she might have something worth saying. Mia stepped back, defeated for the moment. She walked toward her dresser, opened the top drawer, and pulled out the golden envelope. For a moment she held it between her fingers, just enough to feel its weight, its meaning, its danger. Then she slipped it into the far back corner of the drawer, beneath old scarves, beneath forgotten memories. She closed the drawer slowly, almost ceremoniously. It felt like closing a door inside herself. Daniel didn't notice. He was too busy adjusting his tie. Extreme cliffhanger, plus subtle foreshadowing of scene 4. As she walked away, Daniel muttered under his breath, thinking she couldn't hear. "If I play my cards right tonight, everything will finally change." Mia froze. His words weren't meant for her. They weren't about her. They were about who he hoped to meet. She stared at him, realizing the truth she didn't want to face. Tonight wasn't about them. It was about him, and someone else he planned to impress. At the party, the cracks will stop hiding. The moment Mia and Daniel stepped through the tall glass doors, the intensity slammed into her like a blast of heat. Music pulsed, lights shimmered. People in long gowns and sharp suits turned their heads, slowly, deliberately, giving Mia and Daniel the kind of stare that sliced instead of touched. This was a networking gala hosted by one of Daniel's old industry contacts, an event where favors were traded with smiles and business cards, not invoices. Daniel straightened instantly. His whole body changed. His shoulders lifted, his walk lengthened, his face pulled into a smile that looked polished but hollow. He leaned toward Mia without looking at her. His whisper was sharp, cutting through the noise. "Try to stand up straight. You're slouching." The words hit her harder than the room's glare. His hand pressed lightly on her back, not affectionate, but corrective, guiding her like an accessory he wanted positioned correctly. He looked at everyone except her. His eyes darted around the room, searching for approval, searching for faces that mattered. Mia's heart beat slower as she tried to adjust her posture. She already felt out of place. She wore her best dress, simple, navy, neat. It wasn't new, but she had ironed every seam and smoothed every wrinkle. She wanted to support him tonight, to be beside him, even if he didn't seem to want the same. But now, under the heavy lamps and swirling gowns, her dress felt too plain, her shoes too worn, her hair too simple. The room smelled faintly of expensive perfume and champagne. Every woman seemed tall, graceful, glowing. Every man carried a confidence that came from old money or new deals. Daniel felt the pressure, and when he felt pressure, she always felt blame. He whispered again, voice low with frustration. "Please, Mia, just don't draw attention." She swallowed hard. "I'm trying," she said softly, but he didn't hear her, or maybe he didn't want to. Somewhere in the back of her mind, she thought of the drawer at home, closed over the golden envelope. The knowledge of the $20 million sat there like a locked door in her chest. No one in this room knew, not even the man walking beside her. That was when Mia saw her. A woman entered the room wearing a shimmering gold dress that caught every ray of light. She moved with practiced elegance, dripping with jewelry that sparkled like small suns. Her hair fell in waves, her makeup flawless, her presence loud without a single word spoken. This woman was impossible to ignore, and Daniel didn't even try. His smile froze mid-sentence. His eyes followed the woman in gold across the room, tracking her every step. It wasn't subtle, it wasn't accidental, it wasn't innocent, it was hunger. Mia felt a coldness spread inside her chest. Not jealousy, recognition. She recognized that look. She had seen him use it before, years ago, when he first fell in love with her. Now he used it for someone else. She didn't know the woman in gold yet, but she would. Later, the truth would surface. The woman wasn't rich. She was drowning in debt. But tonight, she looked like everything Daniel wanted. As they walked deeper into the room, Daniel began greeting people with forced charm. "Good to see you again. Congratulations on your promotion. Yes, this party's impressive, isn't it?" He acted like someone rehearsing a role. Mia stayed at his side, quiet, patient, trying to belong, even though the room made it clear she didn't. A couple approached them, a tall man and a woman holding a tray of champagne glasses. The woman looked at Mia's plain dress, her old shoes, her nervous smile. Then the woman asked with a polite but dismissive tone, "Hi, are you with catering?" Mia froze, surprised. Her cheeks flushed hot. Before she could answer, Daniel gave a stiff laugh. Too quiet, too awkward. He didn't defend her. He didn't correct the insult. He just looked away, as if pretending he didn't hear anything was easier than explaining who Mia was. The woman waited. Mia finally said softly, "No, I'm with him." The woman raised her eyebrows, muttered, "Oh," and walked off. Daniel didn't even look at Mia. The music swelled, conversations grew louder, and Daniel stepped forward, eager to mingle with people he thought were influential. Mia trailed behind, like a shadow trying to keep up with a man who didn't want to be seen with her. She touched the small clutch in her hand instead of any hidden paper, grounding herself with the feel of its rough edges. Inside, tucked away with her phone and a tissue, was nothing more than her ID and a few coins. The real power, the truth about the $20 million, remained locked away at home. She whispered to herself, "If only you knew." But the noise swallowed her words whole. Just then, across the room, the woman in gold turned. Her eyes met Daniel's. She smiled slowly, like she recognized ambition when she saw it. Daniel smiled back. Mia saw it, and for the first time, she felt something shift inside her, something cold but steady. As Daniel walked toward the woman in gold, Mia stood frozen. The betrayal had begun, and he didn't even notice. What breaks at this party cannot be repaired later. The betrayal didn't begin with a whisper. It began with an explosion. Daniel suddenly clapped his hands once, loud, sharp, impatient, cutting through the music around them. "I'm going to get drinks," he said quickly, already stepping away. Extreme intensity filled Mia's chest as she reached toward him. "Wait, Daniel..." But he didn't wait. He didn't even glance back. He moved fast, weaving through the crowd like a man starving for attention, leaving Mia standing alone in the middle of a room filled with people who only cared about wealth and shine. His disappearance was so quick, it felt rehearsed. Mia swallowed the sting in her throat. She stood still for several moments, forcing air into her lungs, pretending she wasn't already hearing the laughter of well-dressed strangers around her. Slow into reflection. Minutes passed. 5, 10, 15. Still no sign of Daniel. Each minute felt heavier than the last, pressing her deeper into doubt. She replayed every moment of the night in her mind. Him telling her to not embarrass him. Him staring at the woman in gold. Him ignoring her voice all day. Him criticizing her posture, her dress, her existence. She tried to be patient. She tried to be understanding. But her heart whispered the truth. He wasn't getting drinks. He was getting something else. Finally, when her legs could no longer hold the weight of waiting, she moved. She walked slowly through the party, scanning faces, looking for her husband. What she found made her stop cold. The betrayal. Daniel stood near the back of the hall, laughing. Laughing the way he used to laugh with her, back when she was the center of his world. He wasn't alone. Next to him stood the woman in gold. Vanessa. Character introduction. This was Vanessa Hale, 29 years old, known in the local fashion circle for her stunning looks and dramatic social media posts. She was the type of woman who walked into a room and expected everyone to look at her. She was drowning in debt but dressed like she owned the world. Daniel didn't know any of that. He only saw the jewelry, the glow, the confidence. She touched Daniel's arm lightly as she laughed. Her voice was warm, flirty, practiced. Daniel was hooked. Mia watched from a distance, feeling something inside her chest slowly unravel. Logic fix. Daniel's behavior is set up earlier. He told Mia, "I need to be seen with the right people." Now he was proving what right people meant to him. Mia took a small step forward, close enough to hear them. Daniel leaned in toward Vanessa. "So tell me about you," he said in a softer voice he rarely used with Mia. Vanessa smiled proudly. "I'm starting a luxury boutique, high-end clients, custom pieces. You know, the kind of business for people who appreciate quality." Daniel's eyes lit up. A dream flickered across his face, one he never expressed to Mia, but hinted at many times. He wanted a classy, glamorous life. He wanted to stand beside someone shiny. People like Mia didn't shine. They worked. They endured. They carried burdens quietly. Vanessa in her gold dress sparkled under every light. The lie. Then Mia heard it. Daniel introduced himself with a low laugh. "Me? Oh, I'm not married, not really." Vanessa's eyebrows rose in interest. "Oh, so who's the woman you came with earlier?" Mia's stomach twisted. Daniel shrugged, chuckling. "Just someone I know. Nobody important." The words sliced deeper than any blade. Vanessa didn't question it. She took his arm, smiling with the confidence of someone who knew she had caught a man's attention. Intensity returns. Mia's breathing quickened. Her hands shook as she stepped forward, ready to confront him. But right as she opened her mouth, Vanessa said sweetly, "Come on, Daniel. Show me the balcony." "I want some air." Daniel nodded eagerly. Their arms linked. Their heads leaned close. Their steps matched. And Mia stood there, frozen, unable to speak, unable to move, unable to understand how the man she once loved could so easily pretend she didn't exist. Her eyes filled with tears, not the loud kind, but the silent kind that burned without falling. People around her noticed. They watched. They whispered. But no one helped. No one defended her, not even her own husband. As Vanessa and Daniel disappeared toward the balcony, Mia's phone vibrated in her hand. A text appeared on the screen. "Daniel, don't wait up. Vanessa needs a ride home." Mia stared at the message in disbelief. Her heart cracked. Her fingers tightened around the phone. And right then, behind her, someone whispered, "Did you see him leave with her?" Poor woman. He's not coming back tonight. Some heartbreaks don't break you. They force you to open your eyes. The moment Mia stepped toward the exit, the intensity hit her like a punch to the chest. People were whispering. Phones were out. Eyes followed her, pitying, judging, entertained. It felt like the whole room knew something she wasn't ready to admit. And then she saw why. Near the open doors that led toward the balcony corridor, a man in a gray suit, mid-30s, party guest, phone raised high, was recording Daniel and Vanessa leaving together. He wasn't a friend or an enemy. He was just someone who loved drama more than decency. On his phone screen, Daniel's arm wrapped eagerly around Vanessa's waist. Vanessa leaned her head on his shoulder. They looked like a couple escaping the world together. And Mia looked like a forgotten shadow left behind. The whispers grew sharper. "Isn't that his wife over there? Oh no, he really left her. Poor woman. Imagine being abandoned like that." Each word sank deep into her skin. Mia felt her knees weaken, and she gripped the doorframe to stay standing. Her heart didn't just break, it caved in. She stepped fully outside into the cooler night air, needing space, needing breath. The sky felt big enough to swallow her whole, and for the first time she wished it would. The air tasted metallic, like heartbreak and humiliation, mixing into something she never wanted to feel again. She pressed her back against the wall and closed her eyes. And then, like a cruel reminder, her mind showed her a memory she had buried deep. The memory was bright, warm, loving. She stood in a simple white gown, holding Daniel's hands at their wedding. He looked into her eyes with hope, with promise, with the fire of a man who wanted a future with her. He squeezed her fingers gently and whispered, "I'll never embarrass you, Mia. I'll protect you. I'll stand beside you no matter what." Her younger self smiled, believing every word, believing him, believing love, believing the life they were about to build. They had no house then, no savings, no status, just dreams. She remembered thinking, even if we stay poor, it's okay. We have each other. But the memory shattered as quickly as it came, replaced by the sight of Daniel walking away with another woman, the same man who had promised her forever. She opened her eyes and tears slid down her cheeks silently. Daniel didn't just embarrass her tonight, he destroyed her. Her phone buzzed in her hand. She didn't want to look, but she did. A message from Daniel. "Daniel, don't wait up. Vanessa needs a ride home." The words punched the air out of her lungs. His betrayal wasn't hidden. It wasn't silent. It wasn't confused or accidental. It was intentional. And he sent it like a casual update, like she was nothing more than an inconvenience. Her heart cracked so loudly she could almost hear it. She stared at the text for a long moment, unable to breathe. Then something changed in her eyes. The hurt didn't fade, but something cold, clean, and sharp formed behind it. Not anger, not rage, clarity. She opened her messages and started typing. "Daniel, I need to tell you something. Her thumb hovered over the screen. This was the message she had planned to send earlier. The message that would have changed everything. The message that would have made her vulnerable, hopeful, trusting. But now, she saw the truth. Daniel didn't deserve her truth. He didn't deserve her heart. He didn't deserve the $20 million she had wanted to share. He didn't deserve a single part of her. Mia took a deep breath and hit delete. The entire draft disappeared. Her hand didn't shake this time. She slipped the phone into her purse and walked toward the parking lot, shoes scraping the pavement, dress clinging slightly to her legs. Each step away from the party felt like a step away from the version of herself that always stayed quiet. She pushed open the gate that led to the dark parking area and moved between parked cars, the party music fading behind her. Her phone buzzed again. For a second, she thought, it's him, maybe an apology, maybe another excuse. But the screen showed unknown number. A new message appeared. "Mrs. Taylor, regarding your $20 million jackpot win, we need to speak urgently. This is the state lottery office. Please contact us tomorrow during business hours using the number provided in your confirmation letter." Her breath caught. They weren't scammers. The message matched the official contact number printed on the letter she had opened earlier. It was real. All of it was real. The party had taken her husband. The envelope had given her a new future. She stared at the message, standing between cold cars and broken promises. Slowly, she whispered into the dark, "Okay, then I won't just cry about this." She unlocked her car with a soft beep, slid into the driver's seat, and gripped the steering wheel with both hands. As she started the engine, her eyes were no longer filled only with pain. They held a plan she hadn't fully formed yet, but would. Tonight was the end of one life and the beginning of a much stronger one. The intensity hit the second Mia stepped inside the house. She pushed the door open hard, so hard it bounced off the wall. The echo filled the empty living room like a thunderclap, breaking the silence that had lived there long before tonight. Her breath was loud, her heartbeat violent, her hands shaking. She walked in with the posture of someone whose world had collapsed, but whose spine refused to bend again. Not tonight, maybe never again. She slammed her purse on the table, the sound sharp in the dim room. The lights were low. Daniel never left them on, but tonight that darkness felt oddly fitting. Her eyes burned, but no tears came. Pain was present, heavy, sitting in her chest like a stone. But something stronger sat behind it, determination. As she kicked off her worn shoes, her mind flashed briefly to the text from the lottery office. Regarding your $20 million jackpot win, they wanted to speak urgently tomorrow. They were waiting. Her future was waiting. But first she needed to close the door on her past. Slowly she walked across the living room and stood before the small wooden table where she kept her most personal things. Her wedding ring box, a tiny framed picture from their honeymoon, and the drawer where she had hidden the lottery envelope earlier that morning. Her hand trembled as she reached for the ring on her finger. She held it between her fingers for a long moment, feeling its coldness. This ring once symbolized loyalty, hope, love. Now it felt like a lie she'd been wearing on her hand. She slid it off. The metal made a faint clink as she placed it on the table, right beside the golden lottery envelope that held her $20 million truth. And then she whispered, barely audible, "Enough!" The word didn't feel weak. It felt like release. Her phone buzzed. She looked down. Anna calling. Anna Morgan, 30 years old, Mia's closest friend since high school. A sharp thinker, a straight talker, and the first person who ever warned Mia about Daniel's obsession with status. Anna had said many times, "Mia, he doesn't love you. He loves what you do for him." Mia ignored it for years. Tonight, she finally saw it. She answered the call with a shaky breath. "Mia, are you home? Are you safe?" Anna asked immediately. "Yes," Mia whispered. "You sound different." "I am different." Anna waited, sensing something had snapped. "Tell me what happened." Mia's voice cracked, but her words didn't hesitate. "He left with her, Anna. He told people I was nobody. He told her he wasn't married." Silence, then Anna's voice hardened. "Mia, you don't deserve this." "I know." Her tone was steady. "I see it now." Anna exhaled slowly. "Do you want me to come over?" "No," Mia said softly. "I need something else." "What do you need?" Mia took a breath, looked at the ring on the table, then at the envelope, and she said the words she never imagined saying out loud. "You were right. I need that lawyer's number." Anna didn't gasp. She didn't hesitate. She simply said, "I'll text it now. He helped my cousin with her divorce. He's good and he doesn't scare easy." The moment the call ended, Mia moved with a purpose she had never felt before. She sat at the dining table, opened her phone, and began gathering evidence. Not because she wanted revenge yet, but because she needed truth documented. She opened social media. The party had already begun to appear in posts and short clips. People loved showing off where they'd been. She saved screenshots of Daniel's text messages, claiming he wasn't really married. She downloaded photos guests had posted, pictures of Daniel and Vanessa laughing close together near the balcony doors. She saved a video that someone had recorded of Daniel leaving the hall with Vanessa. She bookmarked comments from guests whispering about his behavior. Every piece of evidence felt like a brick in the foundation of a new life she was building, a life without Daniel. Then she took her phone, carefully opened the golden envelope, and snapped clear photos of the lottery confirmation letter. She also screenshotted the text from the official lottery number. She created a hidden folder, locking everything with a password only she knew. Her last action of the night, she typed a short email to the lawyer Anna had recommended, attaching all the files and writing, "I need to protect myself. My name is Mia Taylor." She hit send. The timestamp read just before midnight. As she organized the screenshots and saw the email leave her outbox, her mind replayed Anna's old warnings. He only chases power. He loves attention more than he loves you. One day you'll see him clearly. Mia had always brushed it off. She believed love could fix anything. She believed loyalty would be enough. She believed Daniel wanted her beside him. But tonight showed her something different. Daniel didn't need a wife. He needed a ladder. And he climbed it by stepping on her. She grabbed the ring one more time, stared at it, then set it down firmly. Then she placed the lottery envelope right beside it. Two symbols, two choices, two futures, her past and her power sitting side by side. She stared at them with new eyes, cold, sharp, awake. Then in a whisper that carried both heartbreak and rising fire, she said, "If he wants a richer woman, let's give him the shock of his life. Tomorrow the lawyer will hear everything. The intensity hit from the moment Mia stepped into the lawyer's office. The door closed behind her with a sharp click, and the room fell silent, too silent. Her heartbeat thundered in her ears as she sat in a leather chair, facing a man who looked like he specialized in breaking illusions. This was Richard Cole, mid-40s, divorce and financial lawyer, known for being calm, sharp, and brutally honest. His office was neat, filled with dark wooden shelves, thick books, and framed certificates. Everything about him said prepared. Richard folded his hands, leaned forward, and studied her face with a seriousness that made the air feel heavier. "Mia," he said, voice firm but gentle, "I reviewed the documents you sent at midnight. The texts, the photos, the video, and—" he tapped a gold folder on his desk. "Your lottery confirmation and the message from the lottery office." Her stomach tightened. Richard opened the folder and slid a thick stack of papers across the desk toward her. "This," he said, "is the beginning of your divorce." Mia stared at the papers. Divorce. The word didn't feel like destruction anymore. It felt like truth. Her fingers hovered over the folder, unable to touch it yet. Richard continued, voice steady, professional, but not cold. "Before we move forward, you need to understand something very important." He flipped to another page and pointed to a paragraph highlighted in yellow. "Your $20 million winnings," he said slowly, "belong to you alone under our state's law. You bought the ticket yourself. You kept it separate. You received the confirmation letter before he knew anything, and his betrayal began before he had any knowledge of the money." He looked up to make sure she was following. "Courts here treat that as your separate property, not marital assets. He has no legal right to any of it." Mia felt her breath catch. No right, not a dollar, not a cent. Everything she feared, everything she protected, everything she hid. She was right to hide it. A tremble passed through her chest, not from fear, but from relief. Richard leaned back, watching her reaction carefully. "You're free to walk away with your future intact," he said. "This divorce will not cost you anything you earned." For the first time in days, her shoulders lowered. She whispered, "Thank you. I didn't know if I still had anything left." Richard shook his head gently. "You have everything left, Mia. He just didn't see it." Those words hit deep. Richard straightened a stack of documents. "Now," he said, "about the evidence, the videos, the lies, him leaving with another woman, his text messages claiming he wasn't married." He tapped the file. "It's more than enough for a clean, strong divorce filing. Very hard for him to argue against. We also requested a standard financial conduct review. Given his behavior and past loan attempts, the court will want to see how he's been handling money." Mia nodded slowly, absorbing each word. He looked at her more closely. "You're calm," he observed. "Most people cry in this chair." Mia breathed deeply. "I already did my crying," she said quietly. "Now, I want to protect myself." "And you will," Richard said. "That's why I asked you here today instead of making you wait." He opened another folder, a thin one this time. "This," he said, "is the service request." Mia looked up. "What does that mean?" "It means," Richard explained, "your husband will be formally handed the divorce papers, but it's your choice how he receives them." He leaned in, voice low, almost like he was inviting her into something bigger. "Do you want this served privately or publicly?" The question hung in the air, thick and heavy. Mia closed her eyes briefly. She saw the party, the whispers, the recorded video, Daniel walking away with Vanessa. Not married, not really, nobody important. She opened her eyes, steady, sharp, unafraid. "Publicly," she said, "with witnesses." Richard nodded slowly, a knowing smile forming. "I thought you'd say that." The tone of the room shifted. Mia wasn't the woman who walked into this office weak and broken. She was a woman reclaiming her life. Richard slid one last document toward her. "Sign here and I'll begin the process. Once this is filed, Daniel won't have access to your assets, your home, or your future. The court will also notify him of the financial conduct review hearing." Mia lifted the pen. Her hand didn't shake. She signed. The line of ink on the paper felt like the line between past and future. Richard gathered the papers with a satisfied nod. Well, he said, standing, the moment these hit his hands, he'll realize his entire plan just collapsed. Richard gave her a confident smirk. He won't see this coming. Tomorrow the papers will find him, but not where he expects. The intensity exploded the moment Daniel stepped into the trendy lunch spot with Vanessa on his arm. Heads turned, music thumped lightly, silverware clinked. People whispered when they saw Vanessa's sparkling gold dress, recycled from the party, as if she wanted to relive the glow, and Daniel walking beside her like he finally belonged somewhere important. Daniel's chest rose with pride. He felt taller, richer, admired. He chuckled loudly, guiding Vanessa to the front desk as if he owned the place. But the moment they approached the host stand, a server stepped forward, a young man, early 20s, neat haircut, polite posture. His name tag read Evan. He held a sealed envelope in his hand. "Are you Daniel Taylor?" Evan asked. Daniel smirked, pleased that someone recognized him. "Yes, that's me." Evan extended the envelope. "This is for you, sir. You were requested to receive it in person, with witnesses present." Daniel frowned. "In person? Requested by who?" The server simply said, "By order of the court," then walked away to refill water at a nearby table. The restaurant noise suddenly faded. Daniel stared at the envelope, confused, sensing a threat he couldn't name. He ripped it open impatiently. His eyes widened. The first page shouted in bold letters, "Divorce petition, Emia Taylor versus Daniel Taylor." The intensity slammed through him so hard he stumbled backward into a chair. What is this?" he stuttered. Vanessa raised an eyebrow, annoyed at the sudden spectacle. "What's going on?" Daniel flipped through the pages quickly, panic rising in his throat like fire. He saw the list of evidence, photos, videos, messages, all real, all undeniable, all against him. Then Vanessa grabbed a page from his shaking hands. "Give me that." She started reading aloud, voice dripping with disbelief. "Petitioner has disclosed recent financial gain, totaling $20 million. Her voice choked. She froze. Her eyes snapped up. 20 million? Daniel's world collapsed in slow motion. The entire restaurant seemed to hear her voice echo. $20 million. People turned. Forks paused midair. Heads leaned in. Daniel's mouth fell open. Mia has what? Vanessa's face twisted with fury. You told me she was poor. Daniel stepped toward her, desperate. She is. I mean, she was. I didn't know. She didn't tell me. Vanessa slammed the papers against his chest. You idiot! Her voice cut through the restaurant like a whip. People stared openly now. Phones lifted. Cameras recorded. Daniel felt heat rise under his collar. His mouth opened and closed helplessly. Vanessa stepped back, pointing a finger at him like he was a disease. You told me you were practically single. You lied to me. And you left your wife, your wealthy wife, for me? Are you crazy? Daniel's jaw clenched as humiliation flooded his face. He tried reaching for her arm. Vanessa, please. Don't touch me, she snapped, loud enough that an older couple gasped from their table. She grabbed her purse and swung it over her shoulder. You are broke, you are stupid, and now you're divorced and humiliated. She spat the final blow. I don't date losers. Then in front of the entire restaurant, Vanessa shoved the chair aside and stormed toward the exit. Daniel stared after her, pale and shaking. No, Vanessa! Vanessa, wait! He ran after her, nearly tripping over someone's bag. The restaurant erupted in whispers. Is that the guy who abandoned his wife at the party? He cheated and missed out on $20 million? Wow, karma hits fast. Daniel pushed through the doors so hard they slammed into the wall. Outside, Vanessa was already walking fast, heels striking the pavement like gunshots. Vanessa, stop! Daniel begged, voice cracking. She didn't stop. She didn't look back. He reached for her arm. She yanked it away. Lose my number, she said coldly, and stay away. Then she got into a rideshare car and shut the door in his face. Daniel stood alone on the sidewalk, shaking, breathing hard, sweating as humiliation wrapped around him like a rope. He whispered to himself, horrified, She had $20 million, and I left her? Reality hit him so brutally he almost collapsed. Inside the restaurant, Evan the server stepped out, holding a second document. "Sir," he called out, "there's another notice for you." Daniel turned slowly, eyes wide and terrified. "What? Now?" Evan held it forward. "Court appearance. Mandate financial conduct review. Marital assets." Daniel's knees weakened. He clutched both envelopes like anchors pulling him down. A quiet foreshadowing whisper. And the courtroom would reveal far more than betrayal? The intensity struck immediately. By the time Mia stepped out of the courthouse, the air felt different. Lighter, sharper, almost electric. After weeks of filings, hearings, and signatures, her divorce was finalized. Her evidence was accepted. Her freedom was officially stamped, signed, and approved. Camera flashes flickered as curious passersby whispered, "That's the woman with the 20 million. She left her cheating husband just like that." Powerful, but Mia didn't flinch. She walked straight to her car, each step solid, almost graceful. Her hands no longer shook. Her eyes no longer carried fear. Something inside her had shifted forever. She knew that inside those courthouse walls, documents now existed that clearly stated, the lottery winnings were hers alone. Daniel had no claim to her money. His behavior, recorded and filed, would follow him longer than his excuses. As she opened the car door, her phone buzzed violently. Daniel calling again. She let it ring. She let him wait. She wasn't his hidden support anymore. She wasn't his backup plan. She wasn't his shadow. Not today, not ever again. Hours later, Mia arrived at her new home, a quiet, elegant place she had chosen for herself after the court approved the division of property. It wasn't grand or flashy. It wasn't about proving anything. It was simply peaceful. Warm brown walls, soft lighting, everything clean and uncluttered, a place where she could breathe. She stood in the doorway for a long moment, soaking it in. This was her space, her refuge, her beginning. She placed her bag down and took out the one thing she had carried through everything, the lottery envelope. She held it in her hands, staring at the crease in the paper. This envelope had changed her life, but not in the way Daniel would have imagined. It didn't make her greedy. It didn't make her loud. It didn't even make her proud. It simply gave her choices, choices she had never been allowed to make before. She opened her new safe, small, hidden behind a sliding panel, and placed the envelope inside. She also slid in a copy of the final court order, the pages that declared her legally free and financially protected. She pressed her thumb on the lock. The safe clicked shut. The sound felt like the closing of an old, painful chapter. Her mother's voice echoed softly in her memory, as if floating on warm air. "Money doesn't change who people are, Mia. It reveals them." Mia inhaled deeply. Her mother had been right about everything. A brief flashback followed. Young Mia sitting on the kitchen floor, counting coins in a jar. Her mom smiling gently. Her dad tapping her shoulder saying, "We save so we don't depend on the wrong people." Her mom adding, "And we love carefully, not blindly." Back then, those words felt like old sayings. Now they felt like prophecy. Her peace was interrupted by her phone vibrating violently again. Daniel, calling, again. This time she answered, not because she owed him anything, but because she wanted closure. He sounded like a broken man. Mia, please, I'm begging you. Just hear me out." His voice cracked with each breath. "I didn't know about the money. If I knew, if you told me, I never would have left." She closed her eyes slowly. There it was. The truth she expected. The truth that proved everything. "It should not have mattered," she said softly. "But it does," he cried. "It does. It changes everything. We can fix this. Please, Mia. We can start again. I'll do better, I promise." She walked toward the window, looking over the quiet garden outside. "You already made your choice, Daniel," she whispered. "You made it the moment you told someone else I was nobody." He sucked in a shaking breath. "Mia, do you still love me?" The question hung in the air. The old Mia, the one who ironed his shirts, the one who hid her tears, the one who blamed herself, might have tried to answer kindly. But the new Mia, she simply ended the call. No explanation, no apology, no second chance. Silence filled the room, a peaceful silence, a powerful silence. She placed the phone down gently, like setting down something fragile that had finally cracked open. Mia walked to the kitchen, made herself a cup of tea, and leaned against the counter. She whispered to herself, "Sometimes silence is the loudest revenge." Her lips curved into a soft, calm smile. But then, her phone buzzed again. This time it wasn't Daniel. It was a message from her lawyer. "Mia, we need to talk. Something new just came in regarding Daniel, connected to the financial conduct review. Call me when you're ready." Her smile faded slowly. She straightened. A new chapter, already waiting.